Greetings in the name of Christ. I'm Walter Maier III. The text to be studied is Luke chapter 2, verses 40 to 52. And this is the text, the gospel reading for the second Sunday of Christmas. We will first go through the Greek, and then after that I'll have a few brief suggestions for a homily or a sermon. Starting with verse 40. Ta de paidion, and the boy, and then we have the verb oxano. This is an imperfect in our text, means to grow. Was growing, and the next verb, krataio, that also is an imperfect. It's a passive, and the passive it means to grow strong. And becoming strong, and then being filled with wisdom. And the grace of God was on him. So again, verse 40, and the boy was growing and becoming strong, being filled with wisdom, and the grace of God was on him. Verse 41, and hoi gones, his parents went kat etos, every year to Jerusalem for the festival of the Passover. Verse 42, and when he was, and then eton dodeca, 12 years old, when they were going up, so on a binon tone, auton, when they were going up, according to the custom of the festival. And by the way, this reminds us of language in the Old Testament. Wherever you were in Israel, when you went to Jerusalem, it was always a matter of going up to Jerusalem. When they were going up according to the custom of the festival, verse 43, and after they finished the days. So there in verse 43, we're dealing with the verb teleao, after they finished the days, while they returned. So ento hupos strephein, while they returned, and also autos, the boy Jesus, and then the verb hupomeno, remained in Jerusalem, and they did not know it, his parents. So smoothing that out at the end. And his parents did not know. Verse 44. We start off here with the verb nomitzo, the participle form, the aorist participle, nomasantes, but supposing him to be in the synodia, that's the traveling company or caravan, they went a day's journey, hemeras hodon, a journey of a day, and now the verb anazeteo. You see the form here in our text. This is an imperfect. They were seeking him in the, or among the relatives and the gnostois acquaintances. Now that verb there, as we have it in our text, anazetun, again, this is an imperfect, and the imperfect gives the sense of repeated action. Arthur Just in his commentary has the translation, looking for him everywhere. Verse 45, and not finding, so we have this participle, and not finding, understood him, hupostrepson, they returned to Jerusalem, and again the verb, seeking him. And you can scroll up, please. And it was, egeneto, after 3 days, meta hemeras trace, they found him in the temple, and then the verb here, kathetsomai, and what we have here is a present middle participle, sitting in the middle of the teachers, kai, both hearing them, and eperoton, eperotonta, asking them questions. Verse 47. We'll start here, and all who were hearing him, and then the verb existemi. This is an imperfect, were amazed, were astonished. At epi te sunese. And this word, the noun sunesis, has the meaning intelligence, insight, understanding. And the answers, apokrisisen, of him. So smoothing that out. And all hearing him were amazed at his intelligence or his insight and his answers. Going on to verse 48. And seeing him, idantis auton, and then we have the verb ekpleso. Ekpleso. And this is a passive which means to be overwhelmed, to be astonished. And that would be a reference then to his parents. And seeing him, they were astonished. And then going down further, and he mater auto, his mother said to him, teknon, child, why have you done to us thus? Why have you done thus to us? Behold, your father and I, and then we have the verb odonaomai. This is a present middle participle, and it means to suffer pain or to be in distress. Behold, your father and I, being in distress, were seeking you. And then going on to verse 49. And he, namely Jesus, said to them, why is it that you were seeking me? Did you not know, and the form that we have here, eidita, this is the pluperfect of the defective perfect oida, which means to know. Did you not know that in entois, in the things of my Father, it was necessary that I be. Ene me, that I be. Verse 50. And they, and then sunekan. This is from the verb sunitemi, means to understand, comprehend. And they did not understand, comprehend the word which he spoke to them. Verse 51. And please scroll up at this time. Verse 51. Verse 51. And he went down. So we have here the verb katabino. He went down with them and came to Nazareth, and he was being obedient to them. Hupotasso menos. This is from the verb hupotasso. This is a present passive participle, and the participle in the passive has the sense submit oneself to obey. And this form brings across the idea of continual obedience. And he was being obedient to them. And his mother, and then we have the verb diatereo. Diatere, our form in the text, an imperfect form. This means to keep, to guard safely. And you can compare that verb to what we see in Luke chapter 2, verse 19. His mother was keeping all the things in her heart, or she was guarding them safely in her heart. And then finally, verse 52. And Jesus, and now our verb here, prokopto. Our form here is an imperfect, was advancing. And Jesus was advancing in wisdom and helakia, stature, and in favor, para, with God and men, or para could also be translated before God and men. Well, thus far, the Greek text. Now a few suggestions with regard to a homily. And again, very brief. Focusing on Luke chapter 2, verses 40 and 52. Under the theme, Jesus grew. Jesus went through various stages in life. 3 questions arise. Why did Jesus grow? He went from being an infant to a full-grown man. This happened because Jesus was and is not only the Son of God, but also the Son of Mary. He is true man, a genuine, real human being. The second question is, how did Jesus grow? And the answer briefly, Jesus grew physically, he grew mentally, and he also grew spiritually. Jesus according to his human nature. The third question would be this: what does the fact that Jesus grew mean to us? Why is that important for us? Well, first, Jesus lived as our substitute, and this is his active obedience. And his active obedience involved his whole life here on earth. And second, Jesus' life before his public ministry was preparatory. Jesus was preparing himself for all that he did then during his public ministry as the Messiah, his teaching, and his completing all that was necessary for our salvation. So again, preparatory time for Christ, for his role as Messiah and his public ministry. Brothers, may the Lord bless you as you study this text and as you preach it to your people. God's blessings, the Lord be with you.